Hello, everyone. How's it going? This is immigration attorney Moumita. I'm coming to you live to talk to you about immigration and to see if you have any questions on your mind. Happy New Year to all of you who are joining me, and thank you to all of my followers and clients who joined with questions. If you are concerned about something regarding your immigration history or your case, go ahead and drop your comments or your question in the box below. And also do me a favor, let me know where you are, where you're from, and what you're hoping to achieve inside the US in this new year. So thank you for joining me. The question that I really want to start off today is an issue that many people go through on a daily basis because this is what we actually see in our office. Clients go through this problem almost all the time. And this problem is that their US citizen or green card holding spouse is refusing to go to the green card interview with them. And what are your options? What can you do if your husband or your wife is saying, I'm not going to go to the interview, or maybe they even disappear the day before your interview and don't show up, or they give you an excuse saying, hey, you need to reschedule it right now because I have this thing going on and I don't want to go. Well, is it worth it for you to go to your immigration interview, or should you ignore it, or should you go by yourself? This is a dilemma that many people face because of the fact that they may be in a marriage where their US citizen spouse has become kind of controlling, and they know that, hey, if I refuse to go to this interview, then not only is it going to cause my spouse to suffer, but it is going to be a problem for their case. And if I decide to not go to this interview, then they'll do whatever I say, or they'll give me what I want. And somehow your spouse may have figured out that controlling your immigration status is a way to get you to do what they want, which is absolutely not right, nor is it fair. So what are your options, though, if you're in this position and you have nowhere else to turn? Obviously, this interview is for the both of you, and they are refusing to go. So number one, if you decide to not go to your immigration interview when it's a joint immigration interview, then immigration is not really going to be nice. They're probably going to automatically deny you your case because you failed to appear to your interview. But number two, if you do go to immigration and you go without your spouse and they never show up for your interview, then it can be a problem also, because they also can still deny your case, because it is meant to be a joint immigration interview to determine whether your marriage is a real marriage, whether it's a bona fide marriage, and to see whether they can grant you your green card based upon this. So if you go or you don't go, you're going to probably be in a bad position and more likely to get denied either way. But there is an option for you, which is if you are going through this situation in your life where your spouse keeps controlling you through your immigration status, they make threats to not do something that has to do with your case, they make threats to sabotage your case, they tell you that they're not going to show up, and then they say, oh, I changed my mind. But then the next day they say, no, I'm not going to go because you may be angry. These things are happening to you, and the chances are pretty high that you may qualify for something called VAWA. VAWA is a self-petition where you can actually kind of ask immigration to almost convert your case in a way from a joint case to your own self-petition. And thereby you can actually continue the case by yourself. So that's great news for a lot of you. And if you are in that situation, do give us a call. But what happens if you know that you want to file for VAWA and you feel that you qualify, but you have your interview coming up and you still haven't filed for VAWA? Should you still go to your interview? Well, the thing that you really should do is you really should give us a call at 212-248-7907 so we can get started with your process as soon as possible. Now, one thing that you could do is if your spouse is refusing to go with you to the interview, you can also call immigration to ask for a reschedule of your interview, and you do have to give them a reason, and you could theoretically give them that reason, or you could say you're having a domestic emergency. Whatever works. I don't recommend to not tell the truth, but definitely you can also try to reschedule. However, we can also intervene on your behalf, and when clients come to us and ask us to prepare a VAWA case, and they end up having an interview that is coming up with immigration, we actually reach out to immigration to that particular office and ask them to give us some time, 30 days to at least file a I-360 VAWA application, which will then allow them to pause the process for a little bit while the VAWA application is decided. And that is one way that your I-485 case can be usually saved from getting denied. But what happens if it's too late for that? What happens if you file the abeyance, you file for a VAWA, and they somehow still deny your I-485 case? Well, there are still some options after that where you can still try to do a motion to reopen your denial, and you may also be able to just file a new I-485 all on your own, okay? And that can be attached to your VAWA case. But the point is if your immigration case, your immigration journey, your immigration status is constantly being used as a weapon against you by your husband or by your wife, then it is time for you to call us at 212-248-7907 so that we can take some legal action on your behalf to protect your rights, okay? Pardon me. Gabby, hi, nice to see you. Nice to see all of you here. I have so many cases, so many questions here today, so I'm going to do my best to try to answer as many questions live that I can in the time that I have tonight. And again, if you need to make an appointment, all you have to do is write down this number. It is 212-248-7907. I do have a great intake team. They are specialists. They are highly trained and highly knowledgeable. And we are here to serve you and to see if we can help you with your case, okay? All right, let's see what's going on. And Happy New Year to all of you. King Ribalar saying, thank you for enlightening us around the world. You're very welcome. I'm on a visa. How can I get a permanent residence in the U.S. from Jazir? Jazir, you have to be sponsored either through work or through family, or if you are eligible for a humanitarian visa, you can try to apply through that. Can my husband still add my child to my petition after my paperwork was submitted a month ago from Beautiful Lies? Beautiful Lies, your husband may be able to add your child to your petition, but if your husband is a U.S. citizen, then you are considered an immediate relative, and most likely your child is going to be considered an immediate relative as well. And for immediate relatives, if your son is an immediate relative of your husband, then he will require his own application and cannot be added to yours. Is it financial abuse when your spouse is irresponsible paying the rent and putting you at risk for eviction, especially when kids are involved? From Gabby. Gabby, I would definitely say that this is an element of financial abuse, especially if your spouse is doing this knowingly, knowing that you cannot pay for everything by yourself, knowing that it puts you in a position where you have to work 80 hours a week to pay the rent, where they know that you yourself, if you get evicted, you cannot get a lease, you cannot get an apartment because you're undocumented and you have problems getting those things. So really, it can be considered financial abuse. But if that is happening to you, there are probably other elements of financial abuse that are also happening. And if you are in a position where your spouse is very irresponsible with your joint money, if your spouse is supposed to be responsible for the rent, or they have access to joint funds, and instead of saving it for monthly rent, saving it for monthly expenses, saving it for the things that you need, they go out, they gamble that money. They splurge on a purse for themselves, leaving you with no money for the rent, and that puts you at risk of eviction. Well, these are actually signs. These are symptoms and signs of financial abuse, which can qualify for VAWA. And let me say this one thing to you. None of these things happen in isolation. Where there is one thing happening, there's more things that are happening. And sometimes it's hard to see what's happening in your situation when you're in it right then and there. But that's why we are trained and we have so much experience with dealing with these sorts of cases. And in addition to dealing with them, with getting them approved for our clients. Mohammed Shafiq, thank you for watching from Saudi. Gaurav, we will get back to you. Hi, Moumita. On October 18th, cases updated to show fingerprints were taken, but what I expect to get an interview or approval at Vermont Service Center. So Bilal, if you are closely tracking your immigration case and you look at the status update online, there's a bunch of things that you can see. And one of them might be that it says that your fingerprints were updated, but this necessarily does not mean that it's an approval. It just means that there's been some sort of administrative action taken on your case. The best way to know what's been approved and what's not is to actually get the actual approval notice in the mail. Can I visit my home country to see my sick dad? I have a green card through asylum from current scenario. Current scenario, if you and anyone else who has gotten their green card approved on the basis of asylum, if you, I know it's highly wanted, highly desired for you to go visit your home country, but when you receive your green card through asylum, there are special challenges that are attached to you, to your case, and to your ability to naturalize in the future and possibly even hold on to your green card status if you do travel to your home country. Now, you should speak with your attorney and do an analysis if you have your green card through asylum and you want to go back home, to make sure that you can prove that maybe when you left, the threat that caused you to seek asylum in the first place wasn't existing anymore, or how you protected yourself from being found out. So I definitely recommend that if you got your green card through asylum and you want to go back home because you now have the green card, you really, really need to proceed with caution, because later this can come back around to you and immigration can accuse you of basically maybe even fabricating part of your asylum claim. But sometimes it's possible, I would say, to proceed with extreme caution and to always consult with your attorney first. Do you handle cases with 221G? Tuli, I do not. Is it possible to do AOS and VAWA at the same time? From Hina, yes, it is. And we actually, for a lot of our VAWA cases, we actually file it with an I-485 so that our clients can have a head start on their adjustment of status. Paresh, thank you for watching from India. Green card expired 5 years ago. Can I apply to renew? Or do I need to reapply for a green card from Carib Solbeat? So here is a fun fact, guys. If you ever have received a green card, a 10-year green card, especially a 10-year green card, you are considered a permanent resident for all of your life, even if the card itself is expired. So just because you're a permanent resident and your card expired several years ago does not mean that you actually lose your residency, but you do need to renew your card and you need to apply for a replacement, because as an immigrant, it is required for you to always maintain a valid permanent resident card. But what happens if you receive 2-year conditional residency card and that expired and you never applied to remove the conditions on your card? Well, that's a different situation, my friends. And if you have a 2-year conditional green card that expired, you never lifted the conditions on your green card because you and your spouse separated, or they wouldn't apply for you, or you forgot about it, you really need to reach out to an attorney right away. You can give us a call at 212-248-7907. There are multiple ways to still apply and still get approved, and we would be very, very happy to take a look at your case. Another question that I have gotten is, how long do I have to wait to apply for VAWA after my marriage adjustment of status has been denied? Now, this is for my people who have filed a joint application with their spouse and it got denied for whatever reason. Maybe you didn't show up to the interview. Maybe they gave you a request for evidence and you didn't respond to it. Maybe you have got a fraud interview and you didn't pass, right? So what happens if you got denied for your marriage case and now you want to file for VAWA because you have learned that you qualify and it is worth a shot? Well, there is no minimum amount of time that you have to wait, okay? If you have been denied before you have been denied, before you ever file, even if you filed many years ago, as long as you meet the eligibility requirements for a VAWA application, we would be happy to help you file your case. And let's go over the basic requirements, which are: number one, you must be married to a U.S. citizen or to a green card holder, or if you are no longer married, your divorce cannot be older than 2 years old. 2, you must have shared a residence at some point during your relationship. And number 3, you must have made your marriage in good faith. And also there are some additional requirements that concern criminal convictions, which I won't go into right now. Let us help you determine that. If you meet these, doesn't matter if you were separated 20 years ago, doesn't matter if your case got denied yesterday, you can still apply right now, okay? This is an interesting question. I'm an international student. I filed a case against the guy who harassed me from my school's campus security, wants me to go to the cops, but I'm scared to go because of the visa that I'm on from my rules. So here's the thing. If you have suffered harassment, assault, violence against you, and you're an immigrant, don't be afraid to go to the police, okay? Most states, they won't do anything to you. You can give us a call, and in certain cases, you can even be eligible to apply for something called a U visa if you're the victim of a particularly serious crime. So for that, you definitely need to talk to the police and make a report and cooperate with them. Depending on the case that you're in, there are many states in the US that are considered sanctuary states as well, where you will not be detained due to your immigration status if you have a violation of some sort that they arrest you for. But here you're not being arrested. You are trying to report a crime, and it is very rare for police officers to try to detain somebody on that basis. Somebody wrote, my team filed with you today. When will I get a call? You can please send us a message, since it's very hard for me to tell which client you are. If you're a current client, you should call us or send us a message. And if you're a current client messaging, waiting for a response from me, you will hear back soon. I'm from Miami. I want to know if your siblings are qualified for the new program, Biden Half for Haitians, from Kensia. I can't answer that question because I don't know enough about it right now. How may I contact you from Moose AMG? Moose, you can send us a DM directly on Instagram, or send us a contact inquiry through our website, or you can call us at our office, which is 212-248-7907. We don't have WhatsApp. We don't have Telegram. There are a lot of scammers out there trying to pretend to be me, but there is only one me and only one Rahman law team, and we can only be reached through the phone number of 212-248-7907, and we definitely hope to hear from you soon. Can a green card holder file for his or her spouse child that is in another country? From Umbretta, Virginia. Umbretta, yes, if you are a green card holder and you have a child who's under 21, or even over 21 actually, but under 21, let's focus on that right now. You can file for your child even if they're out of the country. The process that they have to go through is something called consular processing. Sometimes they might be eligible for something called a follow to join, but it's a long process. It can take 1 to 2 years, and it also depends on the visa bulletin and whether your child's category is current at this time. Would I be considered a public charge if it's my 8-year-old daughter who gets the benefit and not me? From Shasha, no, usually public charge depends on you. But also not every benefit is counted towards the public charge test. I'm documentarily qualified since May 2022. What is taking so long for my interview letter? U.S. citizen, unmarried son over 21. So Marfred, what's taking so long is that the consulates are backed up, and they don't have a lot of availability. And they're also prioritizing interviews for immediate relatives and not preference category interviews, such as in your case. So unfortunately, that means that you might have to wait even longer. Military son obtained green card through SIJ. Can you request his mother? From Anmoy? Anmoy, no. Unfortunately, if you get your green card through SIJS, you cannot ever request for any of your parents. Quiero cambiar mi proceso de I-485 por IDEVAWA. Ya no aguanto más maltratos físicos y psicológicos. ¿Qué debo hacer? Desde Diana. Diana, usted puede llamarnos a 212-248-7907, porque cuando usted está teniendo estos tipos de maltratos es muy mal, y también es muy difícil para tenerlos, ¿sí? Y si usted está calificados por DAWA, ahora es un buen tiempo para aplicar, y Me gustaría que usted va a llamarnos, ¿ok, Diana? Espero que tenemos recibido su llamada pronto. My husband wrote a letter and withdrew his I-130 petition in September. By writing a letter, I was denied in December. As a result, I still live in the house. What can I do? From Eats Immaculate. Eats. If you are in the US and your husband withdrew your I-130, it does not affect your ability to file by yourself, and you can still file for VAWA. And if your spouse is withdrawing your case, they know that they're gonna cause you to get denied, and they do it on purpose. There's no other reason to do it, and especially if you're living together. But you don't even have to be living together. But since you're living together in the same house, I would say now is a good time to file for VAWA. Please give us a call at 212-248-7907 so we can see if we can help you. Okay. Martha Zulu, hi. Can you file for kids under VAWA and adjustment of status? From Martha Zulu. Martha Zulu, yes, you can. So children by themselves can also qualify for VAWA. There's two ways to do it. If the child themselves directly suffered physical or emotional abuse at the hands of a U.S. citizen or green card holding parent, or if their own parent suffered that at the hands of a spouse. If your children are underneath 21 at the time that you file, then they can qualify for VAWA through you. But there's two ways for children to qualify for VAWA. Also, there is a way for children, even once they turn older than 21, to still be able to qualify under VAWA. And this is an interesting rule, which we have used several times. But if you are between the ages of 21 and 25 and you had an abusive parent who's a U.S. citizen or green card holder, or a step parent who's a U.S. citizen or green card holder, if we can still help you file by helping to show that your delay in filing before age 21 was caused partially by that abuse that you suffered. So do give us a call, Martha, if you're in the situation or if you know somebody who needs to file. Mel R is saying, hello, Attorney Moumita. My prima facie letter for VAWA was renewed lately upon request. The I-360 has been pending for about 30 months. FOIA says my A file could not be obtained. What implications? From Mel R. Mel R, that is really interesting. I'm assuming that you had another case or you may be in removal or something happened. Now, if your A file cannot be approved or it cannot be found, obviously it's definitely going to cause a delay in your case. I would honestly, if your time processing goes beyond 2 years, I would actually, it might be good to talk to a lawyer about doing something called a writ of mandamus, because just because your A file is not approved is not a reason for them to deny or to not process your I-360 application. Okay. So I would probably reach out to some attorneys who do writ of mandamuses. You can actually give us a call as well, 212-248-7907. Hi, Louise. Nice to see you. Tabasum, nice to see you. Thank you so much. Louise, nice to see you. I love to see people I know here. All right. Marlene Nagel is asking, if you're waiting for interview and have all the fees, can they charge you new ones? From Marlene. Marlene, I'm assuming that maybe you're waiting for an interview overseas and you've already paid your fees to NBC. Can those fees ever expire? They might. And if they do expire, then you'll be asked to pay some new ones. It does happen from time to time. Have been detained in the past, but my daughter is in the military. From Sick Diana. Diana, I hope you're okay. But if you have a child through whom you may be eligible to apply for military parole in place, your record actually needs to be kind of squeaky clean for that. And we would love to evaluate your case. Okay, Diana. So give us a call at 212-248-7907. Even if military parole in place is not possible for you, maybe we can look to see whether you're possible for something else. Okay. Hope to hear from you soon. And guys, just to let you know, we have my assistants Hector and Diego waiting to receive your calls tonight. Phipps Hector, thank you so much. He'll call our office soon. I'm a green card holder. I'm due for naturalization by October this year. When can I file for citizenship and how long does it take to get a date? Sonia, when you can apply for citizenship is definitely going to depend on the date that you became a green card holder. The rules are different for different types of cases. And how long it takes to get a date also depends on where you live and which office is your local office for immigration, because in some places it's very, very fast. I just received a citizenship appointment for cases that I filed just a few months ago in some places. So, but they're definitely trying to prioritize citizenship applications. If you're eligible for citizenship and you're wanting to apply, go ahead and do so now. Just a warning, I'm not doing any citizenship cases. I'm not taking any new citizenship cases right now. My husband withdrew his I-130 petition in September 22. And as a result, my I-485 petition was denied in December with 33 days notice to appeal. What can I do now? From Eats Immaculate. So this is a very interesting question. So when somebody withdraws their I-130 of you, can you appeal it because your case has then gotten denied? And the thing is that the I-130 is technically your spouse's application. And if you appeal that, you have to show that it's kind of yours. So my belief is that appealing the denial of an I-130 or the I-485 is going to be, it's going to be an exercise in futility. However, if your spouse is withdrawing your applications, you're probably eligible for VAWA. So the best thing that you could do is actually to start a VAWA case. And we would love to help you with that. So give us a call, 212-248-7907. My husband threatened me with a gun and plans to. It's Brown Joy. Brown Joy, please call the police. Please get yourself out of that house. You need to make a plan for safety. There's not much else that I can say, but if your spouse is threatening with a gun, that's pretty bad. And if your question is about whether that qualifies as enough to file for VAWA, yes, it does. Now, I'm going to talk about something that I encountered with one of my clients yesterday at their interview. Oh, by the way, let me share some good news. Yesterday, I had an interview for a client for whom we filed an I-751 application with a request for a waiver due to extreme cruelty and battery. Our client was approved the same day of the interview. And one thing that this client told me is that she had gone to another lawyer in the past and told this lawyer about her story of all the suffering and abuse that they suffered from their spouse and the spouse's family. But this lawyer who she had turned to for help had told her that she had a bad case. It was a terrible case that he would not take because of the fact that she had no police reports or hospital records. And somehow, by miracle, she found me and I took her case and we got approved yesterday without police records, without hospital records. And this is what I really want you to understand right now. If you are going through abuse, whether it is physical abuse or emotional abuse, you do not need police reports or medical records to win your case. I only have police reports in a small percentage of my cases, and I have won plenty of I-751 extreme cruelty and battery cases, plenty of VAWA cases without these two things. And it breaks my heart and it makes me really, really angry to know that there are lawyers out there making people feel so helpless and alone and hopeless by telling them that their case is bad and essentially telling them that what they suffered is not enough because they never got injured enough to the point where they had to go to the hospital. So if you're going through this, you don't need medical records, you don't need police reports to win your case. And I have helped plenty of people win these cases without those things, okay? So give us a call at 212-248-7907, all right? Okay, everyone, that is all the time that I have for today. Thank you so much for joining. I hope everyone has an excellent start to the new year. I'm wishing you all lots of joy, lots of peace, lots of success, lots of happiness. And for those of you going through things, don't lose hope because there is always a way through this, okay? And we can do it together. All right, have a great day, everyone. Bye.